said affectionately by scientists, and perhaps begrudgingly by creationists, that science operates on the assumption of methodological naturalism. That is to say, that only natural explanations and laws are permissible in our scientific discourse. Importantly, methodological naturalism must be distinguished from ontological naturalism, which states something to the effect of only natural stuff exists. But it's important to get clear on the nature of methodological naturalism with respect to the limitation it places on the sciences. And it is here that I think it is useful to make a distinction between what philosopher of science Martin Baudry calls intrinsic methodological naturalism and provisional methodological naturalism. Intrinsic methodological naturalism is a position which states that the methodological naturalism of science is an intrinsic feature to science, that science by definition is limited to natural causes, events, and explanations. Philosopher Michael Ruse endorses this view when he writes that science, quote, by definition deals only with the natural. On the other hand, we have provisional methodological naturalism. Martin Baudry writes, according to what we call provisional methodological naturalism is a provisory and empirically grounded commitment to natural causes and explanations, which in principle is revocable by extraordinary empirical evidence. On this view, then, the nature of the relationship between methodological naturalism and the sciences is merely contingently in place. It has been informed by the history of science. On this view, supernatural explanations are not rejected by definition, rather, they are rejected because of their dismal performances historically. There are a number of arguments in support of each of these positions. In this video, I want to look at a common argument in support of intrinsic methodological naturalism. The law-like regularity argument is summed up like this. If the idea of supernatural interference were allowed in science, experimental practice would be impossible. Robert Pennock writes, lawful regularity is at the very heart of the naturalistic worldview, and to say that some power is supernatural is by definition to say that it can violate natural laws. Controlled, repeatable experimentation would not be possible without a methodological assumption that supernatural entities do not intervene to negate lawful, natural regularities. This is a common argument. Martin Baudry, however, is not impressed. Baudry gives two main responses to this argument. First, it's rather easy to imagine a scenario wherein we could test the efficacy of prayer, and, in contrast to what we actually find, say that in this scenario it consistently passes with flying colors. Say that it only does this when these prayers were sanctioned by the Catholic Church, or that they would only work if the ill person was baptized by a Catholic priest. So even though it was possible that prior to investigating we could have discovered that prayer did have an effect, and that it was likely supernatural in kind, there is no good reason to think that this would make the entire rest of science completely impossible. Secondly, the argument boils down to nothing more than an argument from the consequences. After all, even if supernatural forces acting on the natural world would spell disaster for all supernatural investigations, that is not by itself a good argument for adopting intrinsic methodological naturalism and ignoring these other causally relevant factors altogether. It may just be that, in such a scenario, science would be a completely fruitless enterprise. So what do you think? Is methodological naturalism an intrinsic part of the sciences, or is it merely a provisional part of the sciences? If you enjoy Real Atheology, please click subscribe and help spread the word. Consider becoming a patron by contributing even just $1 or $2 per video. The link to do this is in the description. And if you are a part of a secular or religious campus or community group and are interested in having me speak or debate at a future event, please contact me at realatheology@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.